What is Islam? What are the sources of Islam? What are the sources of Islam? What is Islam?
Burada sen inşallah.
Nereye?
Gidiyorum. Hi, my name is Edip Yuksel. This is the most important video you ever watched about Islam or Christianity, about Middle East. I'm challenging you to listen to this one and share with others. My name is Edip Yuksel. I am an author. I also teach part-time philosophy and logic. I am a lawyer by education. I did some practicing, but it didn't fit to my strict rules of ethics. I promote Islamic reform, and this is, I will show you a few of my books. To get an idea, you can check Wikipedia or 19.org if it is functioning, if it does not go down. This Quran a reformist translation. In the beginning, you will see my criticism to three most popular English Quran translation. And I use about 15 verses to exhibit how they distort the meaning of it. And the Quran is perhaps the most read book, the least understood book, because of deliberate dogmas that have been fabricated throughout centuries in order to keep distance between the reader and the Quran, and also the most betrayed book in the world. Here is Reza Aslan's, what he said about it. Reza Aslan, who is the author of a beautiful book about Jesus, The Zealot. I highly recommend you. And also, if you want to read a life story of Prophet Muhammad, which is the least, has the least number of errors, it is by Leslie Hazelton. I have also a video interview with her. I highly recommend that book, though please watch that video and see the interview that I have some also criticism, but it is the best among all those, because Muslims, those who claim they are Muslims, they basically the number one people who are the enemy of Prophet Muhammad. If you see them, they basically praise Muhammad more than God. But they are the number one enemy of Prophet Muhammad, as Christians number one enemy of Jesus. And I will give examples. Here it is. Reza Aslan says, a bold and beautiful translation that serves as a timely reminder to all believers that the Quran is not a static scripture, but a living, breathing, ever-evolving text whose sacred words are as applicable today as when they were first uttered by the Prophet Muhammad 14 centuries ago. Irshad Manji says, a testament to the fact that faith need not suffocate reason. This is bound to be among the smartest of smart bombs, in quotation, in the battle of ideas within Islam. And I want to show you this one at Amazon.com. You can find it. Also PDF version, but the PDF version which is available now, unfortunately, there are some errors I corrected. Later I noticed I continuously correct because I used to be a Sunni scholar. My father, Sadreddin Yuksel, was a prominent Sunni scholar in Turkey, still is famous, his name, after even his death. And I was rejected by him. I was claimed to be apostate. I had to leave my country, come to United States for freedom. And very few people perhaps comes at this time. In the Middle Ages, yes. But now there are less people who come here for only for freedom, not for money, not for anything else, not for Las Vegas. You understand me right now? I don't know. My English is a little bit heavy because I came here after age 31. And I want to show you some, anyway, there is no reason for that. And this is one translation. And this is my debate with Robert Spencer, who is the author of several books attacking Muhammad based on Sunni sources or Shiite sources, all fabrications and distortion of the Quran. And if you look at this book, you will see how he ends up losing the argument. He's very kind of trying to pull me in those nonsense, which he himself doesn't believe, because he's very comfortable to attack Islam, Quran, by using hadith or sectarian teachings, which were fabricated centuries after Muhammad, like today's Christianity. Therefore, when I take his comfort zone away, when I say, debate with me only based on the Quran alone. That time he also came up with some distorted versions and proving to him that what translation he shows me is mistranslation because of this, because of that. You don't need to know even Arabic to understand, to follow most of it, which I will show you, I will prove to you. And Robert Spencer and David Horowitz guy, basically he is, Bill Warner and Ali Sina. This is a fantastic book. And look at this book. After looking at this book, you will see what kind of trickery they do in order to attack the Quran. I have no problem attacking basically criticism of Shiite and Sunni religions. They are absolute different religions against Islam. They are satanic religions created in order to basically reject the liberating message of the Quran that promotes peace, justice, and reason, and knowledge, and unity of humanity without discriminating based on race or sex, gender, or religion. It is religion of justice. But even I have trepidation by using the word religion, which is a wrong word. Deen means system. It is a system which did not start with Prophet Muhammad, which is all messengers of God. They reminded people about this system, which the Quran says in chapter 30, verse 30, this is a system in your nature. If you use your reason, you will discover this system, a system of reason, which brings justice and peace. And I highly recommend this book, which PDF version you will find it in 19.org. I'm coming to my issues on this one. How the distortion is made by Sunni and Shia scholars. I have discussed this issue on Turkish TV in America with atheists and also with major religious scholars like former chief of Turkish religious affairs, Professor Süleyman Ateş. You will see in studio twice he escapes from studio. Just recently, it has been about 7-8 months ago, with the president of Turkish, basically theology graduates. His name was Selahaddin Yazıcı. And my name, if you put on YouTube, you will find that one. Selahaddin Yazıcı, Y-A-Z-I without dot, Z-I without dot. It won't make any difference. Just put my name and I have YouTube channel if that channel is not blocked, because there is censorship against me, even in the United States. The mainstream media does not want my voice to be heard. And of course, Sunnis and Shiites do not want my voice to be heard. Therefore, I expect from you to listen. If it makes sense for you, please share with everyone you know. And this is Manifesto for Islamic Reform. Here I compare the teaching of Hadith and Sunnah, means all these 4 Sunni sects, which they were more than 4, and also Shiite sects, how they contradict the Quran, the teaching of the Quran. Many. And from basically their suppression of freedoms, their oppression of women, misogyny, and their attitude against reason and questioning, their tendency of glorifying violence, which absolutely in contradiction, or their promotion of slavery, I can't believe it, or marrying with virgins, multiple virgins, and a lot of lies about Prophet Muhammad. Number 1 enemies of Prophet Muhammad, because they depict Prophet Muhammad in hadith books as a sex maniac. He had the sex power of 30 men according to hadith. These are so-called sahih, authentic hadith books. Sunnis have 6 fabricated books, 200 or 500 years after Prophet Muhammad they were fabricated. For example, Bukhari, the number 1 idol they have, they associate with God, with the Quran. In fact, they prefer that the hadith there to the Quran. It was written centuries later, but Bukhari came 230 years after Prophet Muhammad. 230 years. He collected from hearsay. He supposedly threw away 600,000 hadiths he collected, and he threw away all of them except 7,220 something. Can you imagine? Basically, more than 98% of it, according to him, they were fabrication. That means there is a crazy maniac. There is an incredible trend of just fabricating hadith to promote your sects, to sell something, to promote a good, to condemn someone, to promote a leader as a Mahdi, or to put down the woman, or to kill this animal, anything. So many reasons why hadiths are fabricated. The beginning of this book, I give examples, and then you will see the motive why that hadith was fabricated, or the source of that hadith. You can find this also in the end of Quran Reformist translation. Anyway, I'm going a little bit overboard. In that book, I compare the teaching of hadith and sunnah with the Quran, and you will see absolutely different religion. And this one, once a while, I organize critical thinkers for Islamic reform. This is one of the conferences we put in a book. You see the name of the authors in that conference that joined us, and some beautiful articles here. And we had conferences at Emory Law School, and then at Oxford University, at where else? And Turkish in Istanbul, and also we had a conference at Princeton University. I have unfortunately the recording was not good at Princeton University, but I have my PowerPoint presentation. Please check that one. The title of it, Peacemaker's Constitution. We have devised a constitution based on the Quran, which is even better than American Constitution, which has some deficiencies, especially about economic rights and protection of the government from corporations. And we also include that because the light of the Quran basically has those principles within it. And this is a book that changed my life. Not this book, I am the author of this book, but The Discovery of 19. Many Muslims, great majority of Muslim scholars, or mullahs, or these ignorant people, they have great allergy against, they have a lot of lies, but they have allergy against mathematics. According to them, God is beyond mathematics because they are ignorant people. According to them, God is the great literary man and poet, but math, no, because They are ignorant, but soon after Islam, early Muslims, they became number one in mathematics and philosophy and sciences, optics, medicine, algebra, astronomy, astrolabe, whatever you call it, many, automation, look, Libris, and many others. Oh my gosh, I forgot even the names of the things, the scientists anyway. And this is running like zebras, basically their so-called criticism against this 19, but this 19 is very important because it has major theological ramification. I have discussed this with also some atheists and skeptics on YouTube. You can find them. I have also a debate with Dr. Silverman, the president of American Atheist Organization. You can find on YouTube. Also Michael Shermer, but Michael Shermer did not do a good performance. He's the president of Skeptic Foundation and the chief editor of the Skeptics magazine, but because he was arrogant, unfortunately, he failed terribly. But he's a very smart guy, which I like him. Much better, atheists are much better than many religious people. Many religious, because religious people make up stories about God, and they can be good today, but tomorrow, by the push of the button, they can turn to witch hunters, to inquisitors, to beheaders, to slave owners, which they were, and they can be any time. It's just a push of button, because they are not governed, they are not directed by reason. They don't. They just believe. They believe what? The bandwagon around them. What they believe is not the truth. It is the country they are born, the environment. They are chameleon. How do you say it? Chameleon? Chameleon. Yes, they are. That's it. And they call it faith. Euphemism for what? Euphemism of blindly following the crowdest or the loudest or the most stupid bandwagon around you. That is the religion. There are good people, bad people. But it takes religion or dogmas. It could be non-religious dogmas to turn a good person to a bad person. I want to give a break now. Now, this was an introduction, the lengthy introduction, but I want to have 15. Now we are going over beheading, apostasy, slavery, stoning to death, jizya. These are all in Sunni books. They have no right, if they are honest, to criticize ISIS, because they are lying. ISIS is truthful to what they have as a religion, Sunni religion or Shiite religion. See you. After this one, the second is coming. Hi, this is the second section of this video. This is perhaps the most important video that you will watch. It is about Islam and Quran and about religion. And here you will learn that Sunni scholars are hypocrites, Shiite scholars are hypocrites, as the Christian scholars too, and scholars or religious clergymen who make money living out of teaching religion or promoting religion. And this is Quran, a Reformist translation. In the beginning I showed you. Now let's come back to here. And this is beheading. All translations of the Quran, except our translation, Quran and Reformist translations, mistranslate this one. In fact, while I was a Sunni in Turkish translation, I did this earlier before the English translation of the Quran. When I did this translation, I was not Sunni, but still, I was raised in a very heavy, very strong Sunni environment. My father was a Sunni scholar, very well-known, powerful Sunni scholar, very strict Sunni. And then I basically from childhood, I was raised with that. Therefore, it is not easy sometimes to remove all these background noises or dirt pollution it had in my brain or viruses in the corner. Therefore, sometimes it takes time to discover, oh my gosh, why I am translating this way. For example, about a few years ago, one translation error I had in my book, it was reminded me by an atheist. An atheist said, Edip, you say that there is no compulsion in religion, La ikraha fid din, chapter 2, verse 256, or فَمَنْ شَاءَ فَلْيُؤْمِنْ فَمَنْ شَاءَ وَلْيَكْفُرْ. Whoever wants, let them believe, or whoever wants, let them disbelieve. Or chapter 4, verse 140, whoever is someone making, if you are discussing an issue, religious issue with a group of people, if they are making mockery of your system, your faith, which is another problematic word. I don't believe in blind faith. Absolutely, it must be based on reason and evidence. And then the Quran says, what says? Beat them? Kill them? No. Yell at them? No. Leave them. Say peace? Leave them. The Quran says when they ignorant makes mockery of you or insult you, just say peace. And then come back when they come to reason. When they are able to reason instead of making fun of you, making mockery. Because when people make mockery, they are not in thinking mode, in Socratic dialogue mode. And that is what is, anyway, the thing. And then an atheist, while discussing, of course, he knows what's my position about freedom of expression. I defend the rights of atheists to say whatever they want, even insult Muhammad or my religion. It is the greatest insult. Saying God is a human being is like this stupid religious man or a prophet who was just the opposite, saying, telling people, do not be the slaves, the servant of another human being. Be brave, be free. Accept the truth so that it set you free. Don't be the servant of religious people. This was their message. Therefore, all the messengers of God, first they were rejected, they were opposed by the clergymen of their time because they were using religion in God's name in order to exploit people mentally, spiritually, economically, and politically. And Marx was right on the money, 99.9%, when he said religion is opium of the masses. Perhaps when we see the definition of religion, he was 100% right. Religion is the opium of masses. Now, then he reminded me, he said, Edip, what do you think about this verse? You translated, I don't remember the number of the verse somehow. He said, I can find it, but you can find it by this paraphrasing the verse. It is all mistranslated, except in my translation, thank God, and maybe in what else? I don't think it is correctly translated anywhere else. المرجفون في المدينة والمرجفون في المدينة. Those, it is mistranslated as those who are spreading rumor in the city, and fight them. It is about fighting those, even killing them. During the fight, if you are in self-defense, you can kill. But when you capture, according to Quran, you cannot kill them. We'll talk about that. The fight, wars in the Quran, it's very clear. For example, chapter 60, verse 7, 8, many verses in my book, I give references, you will see it. It's always self-defense. Self-defense. You cannot go attack people because they have different religions. And now, well, it is mistranslated as this, those who spread rumor. Well, spreading rumor should not be justification for killing. The only justification in the Quran is two. One is someone is killing someone else, you may, but even that one is discouraged through qisas. It must be equal, and there's kind of sexual equality. Even if they are equal, their status, like men. If a female kills man, then you cannot kill. By this way, it creates a reduction. It is qisas, means equality in this way, not equality of killing. It's absolutely, that one is also distorted. And by this way, there is a reduction statistically, 50% of reduction in capital punishment. Even that one, the Quran encourages the victim to forgive. Instead of capital punishment, try to have a deal, get compensation. That is one case that you can kill someone. The other one is in self-defense. If someone is attacking you or killing children and people, and you can stand. Therefore, this contradicts that one. For their ideas or talking alone, absolutely they cannot be killed. Therefore, I said you are right. There's a problem here. Houston, there is a problem. And then I checked the word. My first reference is the Quran itself. Because Arabic is root of the words. Like in Latin you have roots, and you can add those roots to some words, but you know the meaning of the word, you can, like a puzzle, you can understand the meaning. In Arabic is much more. Therefore, there are three letters, so the rajafa, murjifun. Rajafa, the root of it, rajafa. Look at it. And when you look at the Quran, you see, it is used not to spread rumor. It is big shaking and destroying, destruction and killing. يَوْمَ تَرْجِفُ الرَّاجِفَةِ, the Quran says. When the shake of the earth, earthquake happens. It's destruction, killing, burning homes, destroying, like ISIS does. Exactly against those people, go fight them. When you encounter them, kill them. But if you capture them, then release them. Either by exchange or without any exchange, just release them. We'll talk about that verse. Okay, here is the verse that is mistranslated in all translation that I looked, in English translation and Turkish translation. Except my English translation is correct. And I made a correction about that verse. Instead of spreading rumor, I said those who wander around and does the what in the city, the killing and destruction. And therefore this one is the word that is used here, فَضَرْبَ الرِّقَابِ, ضَرْبَ الرِّقَابِ. I'm sorry, I'm in different position, not writing proper. Well, good. Okay, ضَرْبَ الرِّقَابِ. The root of this is رَقَبَةِ. Do you see it? Ra-a-ba. Three letters. Ra or Qaf separately, right? Raqaba. In all translation is used as neck. Chop their necks. Decapitate. Smite their neck. Neck. Smite. By the way, in the Old Testament, in Leviticus, a lot of killing. Oh, someone violates the Sabbath, kill him, stone to death. Someone does that wrong, kill to death. Too many killings. But I think there is also translation error there. I will discuss that. Very interesting translational error. Because similar words in Arabic is also mistranslated. Now, Edip, you say, how can you claim that there is no Islam, Sunni is not Islam, Shiite is not Islam? Well, you Christian, do you accept that Catholic Church was Christian when they were killing in crusaders, witch hunt, inquisitions? No, they were not. Well, that time majority of Christians, they thought it was Christianity. Now you evolved. Basically, secularism put you in your cage, thank God. Otherwise, you have the same teaching there. Pope did not denounce those popes of the past who led all those massacres, atrocities to happen. Did today's Pope? What today's Pope has to do with Jesus? What has to do? Or a Christian, what we have to do? Was Jesus sitting on a big armchair made of gold? today's Pope sit down on it? Jesus had funny hat on his head, going around making smokes and stuff, music, all these big lies. Many, but this is a simple one. Pedophiles, full of pedophiles, cover up. Billions of dollars, what they are doing. They are merchants. They are worse than Pharisees. They turn the teaching of Jesus, which is absolutely against the clergyman like Pope, who exploits God's name, make living money, have power in the name of God. And were the for slavery long time. Then they were supporter of colonialism. Then they are supporter of imperialism every time. Very few exceptions you see among the clergymen of all religions to side with the truth or justice. They are always for the powerful. They are always for the thief, big thief, for the oppressor. Now, in order for you as a Christian to understand what I'm talking about, I want to say, because it is good for you to condemn the Quran because of the teachings and the deeds of those who betrayed the Quran. Number one enemy of the Quran are Sunnis and Shiites. Salafis, Sunni, Shiite. Shiite. They are religions fabricated after Islam by returning all the peaceful and the message that promote justice and unity of humanity. They turn it to religion of dictators, sultans, or khalifas they called. After Prophet Muhammad, there were about 4 years election, and later it turned to dynasty. Those Umayyad dynasty is the one, number one, they distorted this. They wanted a religion of medieval ages. The Quran, for example, says their affairs is based on consultation. Of course, the biggest affair is to elect someone who is leader. Therefore, you have to have election. Prophet Muhammad was default elected as a leader, not only by Muslims, by also Christians and Jews and pagans in Medina. And he was a leader of a federal secular state, federal secular. Muslims, they also accepted him as a religious leader. But in whole Medina, he was not as a prophet. They didn't accept him as a messenger of God. They accepted him as a leader. Therefore, he was a leader, a great constitution based on the Quran he had, a fantastic civilization established. However, the truva, horse. Basically, those who opposed this message, they disguised them as Muslims, and then they started reverting back the message. And I'm giving you some examples coming back. I went to the wrong direction. First, I need to... Okay, we are continuing. This is the third section of this video exposing Sunnism and Shiism, which they have nothing to do with Islam. And basically, it is reverting back to Arab culture. The shirk means polytheism. For example, hadith, you will see, the leadership is for Quraysh tribe. It's absolutely against the Quran, like chapter 49, verse 13, that there is no kind of superiority of one tribe or race against another, or superiority of man over woman, or vice versa. The superiority is only based on righteous deeds. And Darb al-Riqab is beheading. There are several reasons why ISIS believes beheading is a good thing. When they capture, cowardly beheading their prisoner. And it is based on mistranslation of 47, chapter 47, verse 4. Chapter 47 is called Muhammad. Muhammad means the one who praises God, not praised by people or God. hamd in the Quran, throughout the Quran, is used to praise God. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise belongs to God alone. Banu Qurayza, this is another big fake story, was fabricated by Ibn Ishaq 145 years after the so-called event, which Quran doesn't mention. There is a vague mention of an event about castle, but it doesn't talk about beheading, and not a number. You can make up any number about that, and it's not about beheading or killing the captives. There's nothing. The word Bani Qurayza is not mentioned. There's nothing. If there was something event happened, the Quran would surely mention, especially the event this dimension, because even smaller events is mentioned in the Quran. Interestingly, there are many reasons, evidences, we have to prove that this is false. I have, in fact, now I'm going over this one right now. This one, I want you to look at it at 19.org. I put this one, a beautiful article. It shows that it was really an old Jewish mythology, and the numbers are the same. In fact, there are differences in number, like 600, 800, and 900. In that mythology, exactly these three different numbers are given. And similarity of someone is addressing them exactly in the same story, and men and women, and children and stuff separated. Similar, exactly similar stories during Roman time happened to Jewish people. And interestingly, after him, about 150 years later, Tabari comes and he quotes from him, and later Bukhari, all these hadith books, because of that, they get this story and people start making up. There are several reasons why this story is made up. And during his time, Ibn Hajar or Malik, Hajar and Malik, one is Shafi, the other the jurist of Maliki, they consider this Ibn Ishaq's story as lie, utter lie. During his time, even it was condemned as a fake story. But this is one, and then hadith books filled stories of killing people, beheading people, gouging people's eyes, all kind of sadistic stuff, which has nothing with the truth. It absolutely contradicts the Quran. Now, I was going to see Darb al-Riqab. It is translated as, in today's translation, this verse, chapter 47, verse 4, hit their neck, cut their neck off, chop their neck, or smite their neck. But when I look at the Quran, raqaba, the word raqaba, in other verses of the Quran, is always used as observe, watch, control. فَضَرْبَ الرِّقَابِ hit the observations command center. Finished. In that time wars, the commander would go on top of the hill, they would watch, they would give instruction to soldiers where to go. And when they attack Medina, means city, that time it was called Yathrib. In the Quran is mentioned Yathrib. Later Medina got stuck. And the Quran tells Muslims who are defending themselves, there are three wars, major wars. I'm looking at hadith critically. In other histories, Christian histories, doesn't matter. All of them agree that the major wars were defense. They were attacking the Meccan people. They were very religious people. They were like ISIS, no different. Salafis, the same mentality, exactly. They were against religion. They were putting down women. And the same in hadith book you will see. They were very violent. They were tribalistic. They were basically killing the apostates. And they wanted to kill Muhammad. They killed some others. And they were not tolerant. And they were not also helpful to the poor. And today's Muslim countries, you see all injustices all over. Big lies. They have nothing to do with Islam. Anyway, is that time we see the control thing. In fact, it is to reduce the number of people who will be killed. Because if Muslims hit and kill the commanders of the aggressive forces like ISIS, they don't need even to kill ISIS members. In fact, these ISIS members, I think they are even worse than Meccan idol worshippers, who were so aggressive, wanted to kill. Even they are worse. I can't believe that. But, and therefore, فَضَرْبَ الرِّقَابِ hit the raqab. Here are the verses where the word raqaba is mentioned. Look at it. There is one verse which I had, is another mistranslation that is used neck, but in all others it's not neck. فَكُّ رَقَبَ, chapter 90, verse 13. To release, to give freedom to those who are, their neck is bound, something. They are under yoke. But it is they are under observation and control. Those are who are captives. It is about captives. Raqaba. Raqaba means the one who is observed, who is arrested, who is captive. Simple. Release them. The word abd is different. This is not slave. By the way, there is no slavery in Islam. Absolutely contradict the first principle of Islam, which is La ilaha illallah. There is only one God. The moment you say, I have an abd, I have a slave, if you are a Muslim, you become a disbeliever. You become a mushrik. You become a polytheist because you claim to be the Rab, the Lord of this human being like you, who is equal to you. You claim to be God because the Quran says only there is one Rab, one Lord, who is God. The word Rab is about 950 sometimes mentioned in the Quran. It's always used for the Quran, and it is critical of those who claim there are other Rabs. Arbab min dunillah, for example, are there lords besides God. The only God, Rabb, is Rabbukum wa Rabbi. Your Lord and my Lord is God. Therefore, if someone claims he is my abd, my slave, he's claiming to be a pharaoh, because Pharaoh claimed that the children of Israel are his slaves, his servants, abd, and he claimed to be their Lord. The attribute of Lord, Rab, is only can be used for God. Any human being who claims otherwise, who claim lordship over another human being, that person is mushrik, is, according to the Quran, is like Pharaoh. And unfortunately, they fabricated lies and hadiths, and they turned it just the opposite. They started slavery. As they started putting down women, taking away their identity, basically enslaving them in black sacks, or all the stupid, useless superstitions they resurrected through hadith. Okay, raqaba. Here are the word raqaba. I want you to look at these verses. Verse numbers here. But I just give you a few examples. وَلَمْ تَرْقَبْ قَوْلِي. They didn't watch my words. This is قال يَبْنَ أُمَّةِ لَا تَأْخَذْ بِلَحْيَتِي. This is Moses, he's saying, chapter 94. I think, no, not Joseph. Aaron is saying to Moses. Moses is kind of holding his beard and head, getting angry with him while he led his people to go back to the culture of Pharaoh who enslaved them. According to culture of Pharaoh, Hafer had divine kind of has power. Therefore, it was the mentality of slavery. If you still feel kind of that there is some sacredness about this Hafer, then you basically, you don't have your freedom yet. You're mentally in bondage with that oppressive, colonizing culture. And therefore, anyway, it says, وَلَمْ تَرْقَبْ قَوْلِي. You did not watch my words. In another verse, 28:18 says, فَأَصْبَحَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ خَائِفًا يَرْتَقِبْ. This is the same chapter. Moses in the city, he was escaping from something. I think he made a mistake, killing someone during the fight. خَائِفًا يَرْتَقِبْ. Watching around, observing. فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا خَائِفًا يَرْتَقِبْ. Another. He got out from there in fear, يَرْتَقِبْ, watching. It is used for God, Raqib. God is not neck. They don't translate as God is neck. Inna Allah raqib. Allah is watching, observing you. فَارْتَقِبْ إِنَّهُمْ مُرْتَقِبُونَ. Watch them. They are being watched. This was chapter 44:59. Or 44:10. فَارْتَقِبْ يَوْمَ تَأْتِ السَّمَاءُ بِدُخَانٍ مُبِينٍ. Watch the day that the sky comes with an obvious cloud or kind of smoke. فَارْتَقِبْهُمْ وَاسْتَبِرْ. Watch them. Or chapter 50 verse 18. مَا يَلْفُظُ مِنْ قَوْلِ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. And then there's one, anyway, many of these. Now look at the word neck, unuq, which means this here is mistranslated as neck, but in the Arabic the neck is unuq. Unuq. Here is the verses where the unuq is mentioned. I want to look at those verses. For example, وَلَا تَجْعَلْ يَدَكَ مَغْلُولَةً إِلَى عُنُقِكَ. Do not kind of hold your hand in your neck. Means do not be stingy. This is a metaphor, but it is neck. وَكُلِّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرُهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ. We hang everyone his fate to his neck. Every person will be responsible of his own deeds. And a'naq means the necks. ردوها على فتفق مسحا بالسوق والأعناق. This is where Solomon is basically caressing, rubbing his horses and touching the neck of the horse. Okay? Now, what we learned, therefore, it is absolutely mistranslation to translate this as neck. First of all, the verse says, hit their observation command center, and then capture them, the rest of the soldiers, release them either by exchange or by what? With free, without any exchange. After the war, of course. Simple. And apostasy. According to Quran, no one should be killed because they leave the religion. It happens in mafia and also in satanic religions like Sunnism, like Shiism. And slavery. Again, for example, مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ or أَيْمَانَكُمْ, you can read it either way. They're different, but both of them could be understood as those who have contract. You are contracted with. They have contractual rights with you, or you have contractual rights with them. Iman. Wherever you look at the Quran, Yamin means hand or power in the Quran, but Iman, the plural form, is always used as contract. Iman, contract, throughout the Quran. They translate wherever the word Iman is written this way. I have a monkey here. This monkey helps me to erase. Somehow I didn't find my eraser. Okay. And ما ملكت أيمانكم. ما ملكت Iman. Iman. Throughout the Quran, it is used for what? Contracts. And stoning to death, it is one of the biggest lies. They fabricated the verse, and then later, we continue after this one. This will be, I think this is the fourth section of the video. I hope we do it well. Well, stoning to death is another big lie. You don't find it in the Quran, and in the Quran is public shaming, is lashes, 100 lashes, only to Muslims who accept this jurisdiction, not who are non-Muslims. You cannot use this one against them, and it's also public shaming, not breaking the bones or kind of hurting, kind of cutting stuff. It is for public shaming. Well, is different, and you may like prison, which you don't know what suffering it is. I know it because I spent 4 years in Turkish prisons. It's basically hiding the pain of people. Anyway, family is important. This is not about any kind of fornication. It is about adultery when someone else is cheated, and could be also health hazard for that person. But stoning to death has nothing to do with Quran. Unfortunately, it is in the Old Testament because of mistranslation of the word. The word excommunication, this is my assertion, because in Arabic, the Quran rajim in the Quran is mentioned always as excommunication, like shaitan rajim. God excommunicated Satan. And or disbelievers, they challenge, for example, Abraham's father challenged Abraham, I will excommunicate you, not stone you to death. Because rajam is mentioned in the Quran for Satan. God did not stone Satan to death. It's a big lie. Therefore, excommunication, and since Arabic and Hebrew close to each other, this is an hypothesis I am asserting without doing really much research. Since they are cousin languages, Aramaic and Hebrew and Arabic, because there are many common words. When I listen, oh my gosh, so much common. Like salam, shalom. Anyway, and the rajam in the Quran, it means excommunication, but it is not really used as a punishment. But it doesn't mention in the Quran to even excommunicate those who do the affairs. They later fabricated a verse after Prophet Muhammad centuries later, and then they couldn't put it in the Quran. الشيخ والشيخة إذا زنيا فارجموهما البتة. The language is even different than the Quran, because the word sheikh and sheikha according to the Quran means old man or old woman, but according to this hadith it means a married person. And the word rajim is also doesn't fit what is in the Quran. It kind of, from that context you understand, is stoning to death, which is understood by all sects as stoning to death, which is part of their religion. They cannot really criticize ISIS members. ISIS members are honest followers of this teaching. These people are either not honest or cowards. But when they get power, they do exactly the same thing. Taliban did it exactly the same thing. This one, Boko Haram. When they get power, absolutely, today's Sunnis who look nice, who talk nice, if they are really honestly Sunni, they will do beheading, they will kill the apostate. In Turkey recently, when I was last time in Turkey, about 6-7 months ago, I had about more than an hour discussion with one of the sheikhs, head of prominent leader. He was second leader in line, but the other one is brain dead. He was brain dead too, but now, besides the brain, the body dead. They are all brain dead. I had discussion with him. It is on YouTube. His name was Avni Hussein Kansız oğlu. My name is Edip Yuksel. If you put my name next to that and check the YouTube. And in about 53rd minute, and then I asked him, if someone leave your religion, he's a kind of peaceful Sufi guy. Turkey says, these are peaceful, they will never kill people. I said, these are the same. The same virus, the same disease is in them. And therefore don't trust them. Hear what happens. He had to come out. And then after discussing with him, showing problems with his religion, all the evil teachings, I'm using this strong word because I suffered from them, many people suffer from them, and you see what's going on in the world, in the so-called Muslim world. And I said, what happens if someone leaves your religion? Well, we invite them back. Well, what if they insist? Well, we tell them reasons, we give them time to reason. And what if they become an atheist or Christian or a monotheist like me? What he says? I will cut their head off. Keserim, he said. Turkish word. Keserim. Keserim. My monkey is helping me right now. Thank you. Keserim. Exactly. He said it, perhaps he regretted to say, but it was a Socratic dialogue. He had to come up with the truth. The truth is, when he gets his power, he will chop my head off. Absolutely. Therefore, the laws of apostasy is on all of them the same. Stoning to death, they made up this, as I said, after Muhammad, they made up a verse, as I said, and then الشيخ والشيخة إذا زنيا فارجموهما البتة. They couldn't put in the manuscript the Quran. What they say later? Oh, it was in the manuscript before they came up with this lie. You can find it in the Hadith book, Bukhari and others referring to this verse. And then, well, it was written on a skin. It was under Aisha's bed, Prophet Muhammad's wife, which is another big lie about her age. It's another story. In order to justify pedophile, they basically made lies about Prophet Muhammad. And then a hungry goat came and ate it. A silly, stupid story, and you are relieved. Thank God. That means you say, now there is no such a verse, and we don't stone to death anyone? No? Surprise! It is taken literally out of the Quran by a hungry, holy goat, but it is valid. Its judgment is valid. Therefore, whenever they have power, so-called Sharia, they stone people to death, and most of them, 90% of them, are women. And it's no surprise either. In Bukhari, in other hadith books, you see woman is put in category of animals. If you are a woman and you are Sunni, well, you accept all this humiliation, all these insults, and you deserve it because you are inviting. Or, if you are under oppression, try to escape, declare your freedom. It says, if in front of the prayer of a dog, a donkey, and in another version, instead of dog, there is a pig. Interesting. Two versions, but not better than each other. Well, dog, donkey, pig, and woman. Woman is in both of them. Passes in front of the prayer, your prayer is nullified. Many. The majority of people in hell are women. Was Abu Lahab, was Pharaoh a woman? Was Haman and Qarun was a woman? The enemies of Prophet Moses or Jesus, the Pharisees, were women? Or the enemies of Prophet Muhammad, the number one enemy, opposing enemies, who killed many, Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl, or Walid bin Mughira, or whoever names you make up? They were all men. The majority of murderers, men. The majority of liars, politicians are men. The majority of these fake religious charlatans are men. Popes are men. Priests are men. Mullahs are men. Go to prison, most of the murderers are men. Shame on you, you are accusing women. And you condemn them to basically what? To kill them while they are alive. Put them in black sacks, even their face are not visible. To death. Well, they do. Jizya is another word mistranslated because sultans, they wanted more money to apply, basically, to get more money as taxation from people who are not Muslims, like Christians. Well, the word Muslim, in fact, means peacemaker. Today's people, even just the literal meaning of the word Sunnis and Shias, they are not peacemakers. Jizya, in fact, in the Quran, I discussed this all in this book. In the footnotes, if I differ from so-called traditional sectarian teachings, I discuss it, I justify it. I have powerful arguments, and they lose any time they debate with me. If you look at the YouTube, if you look at the media, you will find they never win a debate. The top leaders to the lower followers. Anyway, jizya means war reparation. Jaza means compensation. Is used, their compensation is heaven or hell. The same word, is neutral word. Jizya, those who aggress and kill you and damage your property after the war. When you win, you apply to them, you ask them, you mandate them to pay you back for the damage they caused. It's called war reparation, jizya. It's not a taxation. A taxation on group of people, because their religion is different, becomes a duress, becomes duress. You force them. There is no force, there is no compulsion in religion, in system. Peace next time.